All right, we're back with another episode of Living in Granbury and Beyond. Today, we're going to be taking a look at the great city of Glen Rose. It is a sister city of Granbury, and there's a lot of traffic that goes back and forth between the two cities. And today, we're going to take a look at the courthouse. We're going to go look at a few properties and some price ranges, and we're going to do that right now. If this is your first time to the channel, be sure to click that subscribe button and press the bell for notifications so you'll be the first to know about any market changes that happen or take place here in Glen Rose, Texas. So before we jump in, just want to remind you that we do get calls, texts, and emails every day from people just like you that are looking at Glen Rose, maybe thinking about retiring and moving there, or maybe looking there for the first time to move your children to a new school zone. Whether that move is next week, next month, or even sometime next year, feel free to reach out to us. Give us a call, shoot us a text, send us an email. We'd love the chance to give you some advice or share with you anything that we know about the Glen Rose area. So today we're going to be looking at the pros and cons of moving to Glen Rose, Texas, the pros and cons. So before we jump into it, there's a lot of features about Glen Rose that many people just don't know about. The one thing that everyone does know about Glen Rose is that it has some of the most beautiful views that you can find anywhere in Texas. The rolling hills are just, they are stunning. The views you will see as you drive around the Glen Rose area. So that's pro number one, is just the scenic views. They're unmatched. They are just, I can't describe to you how much it would be worth just going around and driving around the Glen Rose area outside of the city. Chalk Mountain, some of the views you'll get is just really something else. So I highly recommend that if it's something that you're interested in. I'll try to capture some of that with some drones at some point, but it's hard for you to really capture with a camera the nature of the views that you're getting. They're really something else. There's a few other things that are pretty cool about the city of Glen Rose. One thing that a lot of people don't realize is that there's Dinosaur Valley is in Glen Rose. So if you have children that are interested in dinosaurs, this is one of the more highly rated dinosaur parks in the nation. So people come here from all over to look at this particular dinosaur park. We've taken our kids several times, and it's something that is certainly worth doing. There's a safari park, Fossil Rim Safari Park, which you don't have to get out of your vehicle. You can just ride around and look, and it's highly rated park here in Glen Rose. So that's a couple of cool features that you have. You have really low cost of living in Glen Rose. You're in Somerville County, and the property taxes are, some of the lowest that you're going to get. Is really low property taxes. That said, values of land and things out here have been going up, so taxes have been increasing, but still comparative to what you're going to get in some other counties, the Somerville County is very competitive in terms of property taxes. So that's one thing to note. Good schools. We have people that will move from all over trying to make sure that they get into the Glen Rose ISD. So even though the property taxes are low, it's still one of the more coveted school zones here in the area, and therefore you're going to have good resale value as well. The last pro that I want to mention is the location. So I'm going to do a little map screen share here so that I can show you where Glen Rose is in relation to Fort Worth and Dallas. So if you see my screen here, we are looking at Glen Rose here. 67, if you follow this road, will run you up to Dallas. You can turn and go north and go straight into Fort Worth, depending on what part of Fort Worth you're trying to travel to. But you have quick access. I say relatively quick. It's decent. You're an hour from Fort Worth and probably about an hour and 20 minutes from Dallas. You also have quick access to Stephenville. If you continue down 67, you'll hit Stephenville, or you can travel up north through 144 from Glen Rose into Granbury. So you have access to several different cities, the Metroplex being a little further, but you also have quick access to Granbury. So those are the pros. Now that we looked at the pros of living in Glen Rose, now we're going to take a look at the cons of living in Glen Rose. What are some of the cons of living in Glen Rose? Well, number one, it is a very, very small city. There's not a Walmart in Glen Rose. Just to give you some perspective, there are very few stores, very few shopping centers, very few restaurants. So living in Glen Rose, you do not have access to much of that. So you will have to travel to Granbury, to Stephenville, to Fort Worth, to Cleburne, to Crowley to visit some of these areas where there would be more restaurants and shopping and things of that nature. So that's one pretty big con. If you're opposed to travel for those things, then you're probably not going to prefer the setup that you're going to have in the Glen Rose area. With that said, the opportunity for land and things of that nature is going to be a trade-off. You're going to be further out and you're going to be further away from many of these shopping centers. There's limited job opportunities. There is a nuclear power plant that provides a lot of jobs for those in the Glen Rose area. But other than that, there's not much that is readily available for, decent income jobs around the Glen Rose area. So you're going to be traveling for work, which is also going to bring up the travel issue. Now, like all areas in Texas, you have extreme weather. Being that you're on these hills, you can have windy seasons as well. And so that's something that's just going to be pretty typical here in Texas, especially North Texas. So that's something to note, that you will have some extreme weather conditions. Another con is limited healthcare facilities. So if you're wanting to be close to hospitals or have quick access to them, there's not a ton of infrastructure like that in the Glen Rose area. So you're probably going to be traveling up to Granbury or to Fort Worth to visit doctors or hospitals and things of that nature. So if you're thinking in those terms, there might be some limitations there as well. So the infrastructure for hospitals and doctors are not as well developed as some of the other larger nearby cities. So with that, good idea, the pros and cons. We took a quick map view. Now we're going to go out and look at some different properties and different price points. And we're going to look at the Glen Rose Square. We're going to go out there and take a look at some of the restaurants and things that are in the area. And hope you enjoy the video. And if you have any questions, as always, feel free to reach out to me. Give me a call, shoot me a text, send me an email. I would love the chance to go further into some of these topics if you're interested. All right. We are about to go and take a look at a few properties in different price points so you can get an idea and get a feel for what you can expect here in the Glen Rose area. But we wanted to give you a little quick view of a few of the restaurants and things that were around the square. So stay tuned. We'll take a look at a few homes. All right, so we are continuing our tour around Glen Rose. Today we're going to be taking a look at a couple of different properties. First, we're going to start with a 3-bedroom, 2-bath between $300,000 and $400,000. The square footage of this property is just over 1,650 heated square foot, and it's built in 2004. So in this neighborhood, what you'll typically find are very loose restrictions as far as with HOA. So there's no HOA. You kind of do what you want, nice sized yards, and just a pretty private community. So this is kind of what you can expect in the $300,000 to $400,000 range in Glen Rose. Privacy, nice sized yards. A lot of times you can kind of do what you want. So that's pretty common out here. We're continuing our tour around Glen Rose, and we are going to be looking at properties between $500,000 and $600,000 in Glen Rose. These properties are on about 1 acre. They were built this year, 2023. They are very closely located to Glen Rose and Granbury. The river runs right here just behind me. So we have some mature trees. Most of the lots are at least 1 acre. And this is kind of what you could expect to get in that $500,000 to $600,000 range in Glen Rose. A nice new construction property in a nice neighborhood with about 1 acre of land. You can see most of these houses out here are brand new. They've been built within the last 1 to 2 years, and they have similar styles, board and batten, architectural style roof. Yeah, so just a real modern form, modern style homes. Not a large community. Once it's completely filled out, it'll probably be 40 to 50 homes total. So these are the sort of communities you can find in and around Glen Rose.